Hey everyone, welcome to Life Coach University and the wonderful world of Pay It Forward, where we have free talks, conferences, all sorts of wonderful gifts to the world, where all we ask, if you get any value from this talk that I'm doing or one of the conferences or one of the other awesome coaches talks, is that you pay the kindness forward out into the world. And then please share your story with us by emailing it to hello@lifecoachuniversity.com. I do want to give a real quick mention to our first paid course that we have at Life Coach University. It's an amazing program with Heather Flake, who is an incredible relationship coach. And this is going to be June 20th through the 24th. And you can find out all about it by going to lifecoachuniversity.com and clicking on the courses tab, and you can sign up right there. It's a $20 fee for a 5-day course, which is an incredible value. Heather is an amazing coach. She knows her stuff. She is fun and funny, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to sign up for this myself. And 50% of that $20 goes towards an incredible charity for women in the Phoenix, Arizona area. So really, it's such an incredible value. You will get so much. So please sign up and attend that 5-day course with Heather Flake. My name is Chris Weals, and I am a relationship coach also. I work specifically with men on their close personal relationships. And this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And that's what we're talking about this whole month of June. And today we are on day 5, and this is all about, yesterday we talked about sabotaging thoughts, and somebody asked, what's the, if, we're in saboteur mode, and, that's not where we want to be, what's the opposite of that? Okay, well, what a great opportunity for me to talk about that today. And so I want to talk to you all about what the opposite of sabotaging thoughts or being in saboteur mode is. And just a real quick recap on what I'm even talking about if you're here now and missed yesterday. So sabotaging thoughts are fear-based or ego-based thoughts that stem from experiences from our past, traumas, childhood, all just years of mental programming. And these thoughts are negatively biased, and they are really our brain's way of keeping us safe. But they're survive, like they come from the survival brain. They help us survive, but as an adult, they don't really help us thrive. And as a matter of fact, they can actually keep us from thriving, because fear-based thoughts tend to keep us small, safe, in our comfort zone. They make us defensive, which is part of survival. It's part of that, that fear-based way of thinking. Like, well, I'm under attack, so I need to defend myself, and that can get us in trouble in our relationships and with ourselves. And when it comes to having the life that we actually want, these sabotaging thoughts stand in our way. So if saboteurs are fear-based, what's the opposite of that? For me, that's love-based thoughts. So when you're, for me, everything in life comes down to it's either fear or it's love. And so saboteurs are based in fear. The opposite is when you're in a more of a present state of mind. You're conscious, you're aware, and you are coming from a place of love instead of fear. So what are your intentions? Who are you at your core? So these can be thought of as your sage powers, or your sage thoughts, or your sage mode, or just conscious or loving even. So whenever you catch yourself having sabotaging thoughts, and these are judgmental thoughts, these are, this is a problem, or, I can't do that, I'm not good enough, or this person is evil. They're out to get me. They're not good enough. These are sabotaging thoughts that aren't helping you have the experiences that you want in life. They're not helping you get the results or create the results that you want in life. And so if you catch yourself having a sabotaging thought, you can notice it, label it, give it a name, know that it's not you. Oh, that's my judge again. I recognize that. Then you could do something to kind of hit the reset button in your brain. And this could be a very small thing that you do for 10 to 30 seconds or a little bit longer if you have the time and if it feels right to you. But focus on your breath, take deep, slow breaths to calm your nerves. You can focus on a sight or a sound or a physical sensation. You can rub your hands together with a lot of attention and like pay attention to the contours and the temperature and all of that just to get your mind right here, right now, focused on something that's in the present moment. Because when we're in fear-based mode or in saboteur mode, we're not thinking about the present moment. And this is something you might not already be aware of, but anytime you're in fear, you're either worried about the future or you're sad about the past, unless of course you are actually in immediate physical danger. If you're being attacked by a bear or something like that, then okay, now having this fear is incredibly helpful. This is your body's way of protecting you and getting you out of harm's way. But what goes on with our human brains is that we perceive things as threats that aren't really threats. And so we go into fear-based mode, we get defensive, and we try to protect ourselves from threats that we don't need to protect ourselves from. And then this becomes chronic issues like anxiety disorder and depression. And then we're not enjoying life as fully as we can be. Our relationships suffer. We don't create the life that we want when we're anxious and depressed all the time. So it's a really good thing to be able to notice these fear-based sabotaging thoughts, label it as such. No, that's not me. That's just this, fear-based thinking. All right, take that deep breath, hit the reset button, and then ask, okay, how can I view this differently? How can I change my mind about this? What can I think instead? And so now you're aware and you're present, and now you have the ability to make a conscious decision. You can choose in that moment how you want to handle this, coming from a place of love and what matters to you, your values, your intentions. What do I actually want to experience this? And one thing that I want to mention is that when we're in this love-based mode, one thing that we can do, and this helps me to create the experiences that I want, and I'm so grateful that I learned this recently, is that I have the choice to view every single moment, every single incident, everything that's ever said to me or done. I can view that as a gift and an opportunity. And when I have this mentality, so viewing it as a gift means I'm in gratitude, which is one of the highest levels of being that you can be in, one of the highest states. And so I see it as a gift, and now I see it as an opportunity, which helps me to be more creative and solution focused versus scared and defensive and problem focused and making somebody else be the problem or I'm the problem. We get our minds away from all of that, which doesn't help us get what we want. It actually just makes a situation worse. When we can view everything as either a gift and an opportunity, or a gift or an opportunity, if we can do that, then we're going to be present, we're going to be more calm, we're going to have more inner peace and joy, and we're going to be more creative, compassionate. We're going to be able to create more more ideal results. We're going to be able to create more ideal experiences in life and our relationships when we have this in mind. If we can remember what's the gift and opportunity here, then I think that's just such a beautiful way of looking at life. And it's very practical in that being in that state of mind and viewing things that way will actually help us get the results that we want. And so I want to give to you 3 gifts that you can use to navigate this new way of thinking, this new mental programming that can be very helpful to remember. And the first is the gift of knowledge. So in every situation, in every moment, you can think, okay, what's my gift here? What knowledge did I gain? Or what's the opportunity here? What knowledge do I need to gain to resolve this issue, to figure this out, right? So that's the first gift. That's the gift of knowledge. The second is the gift of power. And I'm going to get into the 5 sage powers after this, but I just want to let you know, so the gift of power is about, okay, what strength did I gain from this? Or what strength do I need to improve upon? What strength do I need to grow in order to work my way through this, in order to resolve this? Right now, the third one is the gift of inspiration. And this gift is I think, awesome, because sometimes maybe you're not going to be able to turn a specific incident into a direct gift or opportunity. Maybe it's something that you think, well, this is just too painful. What if you get fired from a job or laid off from a job, and you're just thinking, well, I don't know how to turn that directly into a gift or an opportunity. But what I could do is use the pain from that experience to inspire me to do something else that's positive in the world, or for myself. So what if I thought, okay, you know what, I got laid off from this job, that means I have a little bit extra time right now. I'm going to get back into shape. I'm going to use this to inspire me to get physically fit, to help me stay in this more positive frame of mind, to stay healthier mentally and physically. And so I'm inspired by this event that happened, me getting laid off, to do something positive, get back into physical fitness, get back into shape physically. And so it's not directly tied, but it's inspired by. And so there's the gift there. So those 3 gifts again are the gift of knowledge, the gift of power, and the gift of inspiration. Now I want to get into those 5 sage powers that I mentioned, because I think these are incredible. And if we tap into these, I think these 5 things can really help us navigate through life and help us create the experience that we want in our relationships, with our careers, with our money, with lifestyle. Everything, I think, can stem from these 5 powers. So the first is empathy. The second is exploration. The third is innovation. The fourth is navigation. And the 5th is activation. And I'll explain all of these. The first one is the gift of empathy. And that is to be empathetic toward myself, toward my partner, to whoever is, part of this situation. So have compassion, empathize. So that means to understand that, not necessarily exactly what they're going through, but know that they're going through something. They're human, they're having a human experience, or I'm going through something. I'm human, I'm having a human experience. How can I remember that, and then handle the situation, or handle that conversation with them, or myself, even coming from that place of empathy and compassion instead of judgment and anger and frustration. Say, okay, well, all right, how can I work toward a solution with them, or how can I know that they're hurting and bring some comfort to them, or I'm hurting, I can bring some comfort to myself. So this is the most powerful gift of all, I believe, is empathy. The next is exploration. And so that's really about curiosity. If something happens and we don't understand it, so instead of getting mad or frustrated, we can tap into this power of exploration and think, okay, well, why did this happen? What happened? And just start asking questions from a place of genuine curiosity and wanting to investigate, so that you are equipped with all of the information that you need in order to solve the issue or create the experience that you really want to have. So I think this is another powerful gift. And then the third is innovation, which is all about creativity. So how can I think outside the box? I'm not seeing the solution right in front of me. And then maybe we can brainstorm together. So if you're dealing with a situation with your partner, there's an issue that you want to work through, that you want to solve, hey, let's brainstorm here. And a really good exercise here is play the yes and game. So when you're brainstorming, don't shoot each other's ideas down. Just if somebody says something, automatically yes, and then you can build on top of that, and then just keep going from there. So that's a really good exercise to help you think outside the box and come up with a creative solution. All right, the fourth one is navigation. And navigation is really about having an internal compass. And one good way to know what yours is to think about your future self way down the road, maybe like toward the end of life, or you can even think about your own funeral. Like, what do you want people to say about you at your funeral, or when you're 100 years old, looking back, at that stage, what do you think are going to be the most important things to you in life? What matters the most to you? Is it money? Is it career? Is it relationships, experiences, where you live, your hobbies, all of that? And try to keep that in mind as you decide your next steps. So it's not really about the results. It's about who you're being, how you're behaving, how you're handling other people, your situation, what decisions you're making, right? So that's that navigation power. And that's also really incredibly important to know who you are and what matters as you decide what to do in your life. And this could really help you if you remember that as you're interacting with your partner. And tomorrow, where I'm going to get more into values and intentions and like who you're being and what you want and all of that kind of stuff, we'll tap into that a little. And then finally, the fifth sage power is activation. And activation is all about taking courageous action, right? It's about, okay, we worked through ideas, and I know the right steps, and I know this is in line with my values, and it's still kind of scary. And that's when you need courage to actually do what you know is the right thing, even though you might not know what the results are going to be. So there is that little bit of fear, and that's okay. It's okay to have the fear and take action anyway, right? And that's what activation is about. So there you have it. You have the three gifts to help you figure out the gift and opportunity in any situation. And those are the gifts of knowledge, the gift of power, and the gift of inspiration. And then you have your 5 superpowers, or your sage powers. And those are empathy, exploration, innovation, navigation, and activation. And I just, that's what I have for you. I see I have some questions. I don't have a specific exercise or homework assignment for you this time, but really it's I would say, write this down, write down. I have the choice to view every single moment, every single incident as a gift and opportunity. Now, how can I do that? Right. And now start practicing that, write it down, and then notice when you're in saboteur mode, when you're having thoughts that are hurting you versus helping you. And come back to this. What's the gift and opportunity here? Okay, I'm going to answer some questions. Let's go. Question 1: can fear-based thinking be useful in helping to avoid more pain or avoid a bigger problem? Well, I don't think so. I think, again, like if you're in an actual situation where you have an immediate threat to your life, to your safety, then yeah, let the fear take over and help help you escape that situation. But even then, you're going to need to think a little bit. So I really think that the sabotaging thoughts, or our saboteurs, they like to tell you that they are useful, and that they're the way forward. They like, you need them. They're your friend. They're there to protect you and keep you safe. But really, they're it's really difficult to think clearly when you're in fear mode. You know, if you're afraid or triggered, if you're highly emotional, your intelligence goes down. I know mine does. I know this from personal experience. It's way more difficult for me to think clearly. It's difficult for me to have compassion, to be creative, to be curious. You know, I'm just like, I have tunnel vision. And so I say fear-based thinking is not helpful. And what you want to do is just really look at things without judgment. So whatever the problem is, whatever the pain is that you're experiencing, if you are too afraid and you resist it, or you avoid it, or you try to numb the pain with alcohol or drugs or TV or whatever, then you're not really dealing with it, and it's there still festering. It's growing bigger. It's becoming out of control. It's gaining control over you. But if you get out of the fear-based way of thinking, if you use these gifts and these strengths that I talked about today, then you can actually navigate these things. You can work through problems. You can solve your biggest problems in life. And then you can do it from a place of love. And that will help you grow so much, and that'll help you have the life experiences that you actually desire, versus continuing to repeat the same old negative patterns. All right, next question. How do I know that my love is pure? I want to be in the place of love, but then I get hurt, so I pull away, right? I think this really comes down to feeling for you. So if you're in a state of fear, you're going to know that. You're going to feel that in your body, right? Or you're going to tell just based on how you're thinking, or having a hard time thinking clearly. But one thing that you can do, if you're not quite sure what fear feels like in the body versus what love feels like in the body, is a quick exercise. Just sit in a quiet space for a few minutes and think about a past experience that's painful or fearful, without it being too overly traumatic for you still to think about that, because you don't want to put yourself into a situation where you're like feeling overly emotional, but you want it to be something that was emotional, but just not overly so. But something that was either fearful for you or just a negative experience, and then really tap into how you feel about that. Like, what did that feel like? What does it feel like now in your body? And then you could do the exact same thing for a loving experience that you've had from your past, a very positive, celebratory experience, something that felt really good. And there's no limit on this one. You can go as big and beautiful and positive as you want, and notice how that, like, really think about it, tap into how you felt, notice how you feel now. What does that feel like? Right. And so that's one way to do it, is to just really tap into the feelings of it, because I think you will notice that there's a difference in the feeling in your body if you spend enough time and really allow yourself to feel that and notice what it feels like. For me, fear feels like a tightening. It feels heavy. It hurts. and love is really, my chest is more open. I know I'm breathing slower. That's another thing. Fear, like, it's shallow, rapid breaths. But when I am calm and coming from love, and then I am taking slower, deeper breaths, my mind feels less noisy. less frantic, it's calmer. I just, I don't feel the tension in my neck and my shoulders, and I don't feel that weight on my chest and my shoulders, and I just feel lighter. I feel more expansive. And then also you can just, based on your intentions and what really matters to you. So, is this, and so again, like tomorrow, I'm going to get more into setting intentions and talking about what matters and knowing your values and all of that. But if you know that, then you can check in. You can say, all right, is this in alignment with what matters to me, with my intentions, with my values, with, like I want to be a joyful, loving, caring, kind, compassionate person. Is this that? Am I being that? Right? So there's different ways. I hope that was helpful. All right. Third question. What if I'm saying yes, but I'm 100% against it? My partner can read my body language so fast. Is that me lying to myself and to my partner? No, what it's doing is just keeping the flow, the creative flow going. So when you shut something down right away, then that's going to shut yourself down. That's going to shut them down. So, well, no, I don't like that. Or if you're questioning it or whatever, like this is all about creativity mode, brainstorming. There are no bad ideas. Let's just get a bunch of ideas out so we get that flow going, right? But when you're saying no to something, then that kills the flow, and that makes it really hard to stay creative and brainstorm. And so, yes, and just it's all about being open and letting those, like the creative flow, continue. So it's not really lying, it's just a tool that you have. And also, I believe that there is some truth, even in a situation where, maybe you're arguing with someone, you're debating or whatever, and you don't think that they're right at all. I think it's in your best interest and in their best interest and in the best interest of your relationship to find the truth in what they're saying and make it so you're not lying. And it might be a very small percentage, but look for the truth in what they're saying. Find there, because I doubt they're intentionally lying to you, right? So look for the truth in it. So you have something to work with. So you're not automatically just on the opposite side and they're the enemy and they're against you and you're against them. Look for the commonality, the common ground, because this is, it's just a more helpful way of growing, of resolving issues. And if this is your partner, your life partner you're dealing with, what kind of a relationship do you want to have? What kind of an experience do you want to have? How do you view them? And if you're just automatically, no, I'm against it, then, that's probably putting a divide between you and causing a disconnect in the relationship. So I would say, look for the truth, look for the ways that you can connect and then grow on that. And especially in these brainstorming sessions where you're just trying to be creative, the yes, and again, it's just a tool. You don't have to agree with it. You can talk about that after your dedicated brainstorming time, 5-10 minutes. Then you can start going through and going, and use discernment versus judgment. Like again, that's a love-based version of judgment is discernment. It's all right, does this work or not? Not this is bad, this is awful, you're bad, you're stupid, whatever. It's just more of a neutral or even positive way of approaching it. But it's not like, hey, everything is wonderful and awesome, because that's not necessarily the truth. But it's just taking a different approach that is not going to hurt other people or hurt yourself. But yeah, you don't ultimately have to say yes to everything, and you don't want to, but you do want to approach it in that love space versus the fear space. All right, those were all the questions that I had. Thank you all so much for answering those or asking those questions. I hope my answers were helpful. Again, I'm Chris Weals. I'm a relationship coach. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just under my name. Last name is Weals. And thank you so much for joining me here at Life Coach University in the land of Pay It Forward Talks. Again, remember to check out Heather Flake's course that's coming up starting June 20th by going to lifecoachuniversity.com and clicking on courses. You can find all the information. That's going to be incredibly valuable. You do not want to miss that. And also check out all the upcoming PIF Talks. I know we have one coming up on the 9th. So please, check it out. These are incredibly valuable gifts from all of these awesome coaches. And we don't ask for anything in return on most of this stuff, just that you pay the kindness forward out into the world. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. Thank you.